We've got some introductory remarks, and then we'll get started. On behalf of the University of Miami, welcome to the 2022 Real Estate Impact Conference. My name is Chuck Pohl. I'm a professor. I'm director of the Master in Real Estate Development and Urbanism program at the School of Architecture and the program chair for this year's event. This is our 10th anniversary of the Impact Conference. I know there are many of you in the room who have been with us from the very start, so let me take you back to our humble beginnings just for a moment. Can I have the slides, please? All right. 2012, first year, we welcomed about 100 guests to our venue in the magnificent and nearly completed 34th floor of 1450 Brickell. It was actually a great setting for a real estate conference, a brand new building without any interior walls. And this is the program you're seeing on the screen. Then President Donna Shalala's welcome remarks are actually very fitting for today. She said, "There is an unbelievable amount of brain power and capital in this room. Remember that the University of Miami is your partner in helping to develop South Florida's entrepreneurial spirit and build a global business community." In 2013, we moved on to Brickell World Plaza, 600 Brickell, where we maxed out at 150 guests. Here's a photo of myself and Armando Montero, director of our construction management program. We're posed in front of, you recognize it? This is the Gulch, which would soon be transformed in Brickell City Center. And then 2014, the last of our eclectic early venues, this is the Perez Art Museum, and we're actually on the outdoor terrace of the brand new Perez Art Museum at that time, with no walls at all, just plastic sheets. This was followed by a great run of 5 years at the Four Seasons, where a lot of you joined us. Those had rooms with walls. From the very beginning, we've been really fortunate to have, as presenting sponsors, Kislak, the Witkoff Group, and Douglas Elliman. And this is the 2013 group of sponsors. Here's today. Over the years, they've been joined by over 100, now more like 120 advisory board members who support real estate programs at the university. This is our first time hosting the event on campus. And like most of South Florida, the campus has experienced a truly amazing transformation in recent years. So while I give the last part of my opening remarks, we're going to play a virtual tour of some recently completed and ongoing projects as I wrap up. Oh, let it go. There we go. All right, the Impact Conference is jointly organized by the School of Architecture, Law School, and the Miami Herbert Business School. Our programs have blossomed in recent years with the help of your involvement and support, and today we're attracting greater interest and stronger applicants than ever before. You've helped us differentiate ourselves from our peers and compete to bring the best and brightest to South Florida. There are 3 things that have set us apart. First is our location. This year's theme is Miami Momentum, and our program will explore the influx of entrepreneurs, venture capital, and technology companies that have drawn international attention. As one of the world's most dynamic markets and exciting regions, South Florida represents an extraordinary setting for the study of all manner of real estate, of stunning architecture and design, and cutting-edge construction and engineering. We are literally the place to be for the study of real estate. Second, has become an interdisciplinary powerhouse. The university is extremely unique in offering programs in every field connected to the real estate industry under one roof. Real estate development, architecture, construction management, and urban design at the School of Architecture, an undergraduate real estate major, an MBA, and an accelerated MBA in real estate at the Business School, and one of the oldest and most prestigious LLM degrees in the nation in real property development at the Law School. In contrast to our peers, we operate as partners, not as silos. provides rich interdisciplinary experiences for our students that mirror the real-world relationships between disciplines and professions. Our students share courses, collaborate on team projects and competitions, form partnerships and companies after graduation, and occasionally even get married and have children, building the family. Third, and most importantly, we are supported by you, our board members, and by the incredible community of talented professionals. In addition to your sponsorship of the conference, many of you are directly engaged in the education of our students as guest speakers, as mentors, through internships and site visits, and ultimately through hiring of our graduates, many of whom are here today as alumni. With your help, we are preparing the next generation of visionaries, problem solvers, and industry leaders. On behalf of our students and alumni, thank you for your time, your service, and your commitment to their success. Now, please welcome Lynn Hackney, Principal of Community 3, who will introduce our opening keynote session.
Thank you, Chuck. Glad this microphone's adjustable. Laurie Silvers is co-CEO of Hollywood.com, a leading entertainment website. Mrs. Silvers is the co-founder of the Sci-Fi Channel, which she originally sold to USA Networks, and is now owned by NBC Universal. Co-founder and the majority owner of the Misfits, a global esports organization, and a majority owner of 4 FM radio stations in Florida. Ms. Silvers was elected to the UM Board of Trustees in 2003 and is the 21 through 23 chair of the board. A University of Miami School of Law building is named the Laurie Silvers and Mitchell Rubenstein Hall in honor of Ms. Silvers and her husband, and has 3 children that are University of Miami alum. Thank you, Laurie. So when Kim Hoover, my wife who serves on the conference committee representing the law school, came home and said, we need someone really big this year. We missed last year, it's been COVID. We need a really big name. Everybody's gonna be back in person. This is very exciting. So I said, well, when you say big, you mean like what, Jeff Bezos, Melinda Gates? What are we talking about here? And she said, Lynn, please, think bigger. And I said, Sheila Johnson. DC girls in the house. Sheila Johnson is founder and CEO of Salamander Hotels and Resorts, which operates a collection of luxury properties. The portfolio includes the Salamander Resort and Spa in Middleburg, Virginia, which has been awarded the distinguished Forbes 5-star rating and features the new residences at Salamander Development. The collection also features Innisbrook in Tampa Bay, Hotel Bennett in Charleston, South Carolina, and Half Moon in Montego Bay, Jamaica. On May 1st, the company will assume the management of the iconic Aspen Meadows Resort in Aspen, Colorado. Ms. Johnson has become a voice for the hospitality industry, serving on both the executive committee for the American Hotel and Lodging Association and the Forbes Travel Guide Strategy Committee. As vice chairman of Monumental Sports and Entertainment, Ms. Johnson is the only African-American woman to have ownership in 3 professional sports teams, the NBA's Washington Wizards, the NHL's Washington Capitals, and the WNBA's Washington Mystics, for which she serves as president and managing partner. I think that's probably the only woman, but anyway. Ms. Johnson has long been a powerful influence in the entertainment industry, starting with her work as founding partner of Black Entertainment Television. She has served as executive producer of documentary and feature films. A strong believer in women's empowerment, Ms. Johnson has served as global ambassador for CARE, a leading humanitarian organization that combats global poverty by empowering women. So to kick off this session, we have a sizzle reel that gives a glimpse inside Sheila's Salamander Hotels. Let it roll.
Whew, that was great. Sheila, you've had an extraordinary career. Are you there? Yes, you are.
Now I'm on.
Now you are. 3 acts, and I don't think you're done yet, but so far 3 acts. You started your work as a concert violinist and music educator. Very interesting. Then as co-founder of the Black Entertainment Network, and that was groundbreaking.
Yes.
Very interesting. And now as a hospitality entrepreneur. Very interesting. So since we just saw something about Salamander, why don't you take us a little bit inside the workings of your hotels and resort, and what you feel is the most distinctive about the Salamander brand?
Well, first of all, we're a very small company in size when you think of other hotel groups. We're independent luxury. I've kept it that way, and we're going to grow very carefully to make sure that we have the right properties. My view of my company, and I've got the greatest team, first of all, that really shares my vision, and this is very important. But I'm hands-on, not in a bad way. They do see me at the hotels. I'm constantly walking the properties to make sure everything is right. But more importantly, we have a value system that I cherish. I really do respect all of my employees. I get to know their names, whether they are making the beds, whether they're working in the back, but this is something that is very important to me. As an independent luxury resort, I make sure that every detail is perfect. I am constantly preaching about that. I train my executive team to make sure whatever their job is, I want them to have fun, but I also want them to do a good job. This third act of my life has been the most important, and I've enjoyed it more than anything in the world. The other thing about my company, I just don't want to open the doors and just have the guests just check in and then check out. But I always try to bring experiences to them, like you saw in the video. I am always trying to dream up events because I want to give them not only a luxury experience, but I want to also educate and entertain them. And it's not just the guests that check in, but also my employees. When the American Ballet Theater came in there, they had so much fun watching the stage grow. And as the ballet dancers checked in, I introduced them to them, and I also wanted just to expose them to something normally than just serving us or cleaning up a room. But I wanted them to experience my world. And really, we have a ball.
So I think you've probably answered my next question, but if you could go into it a little bit further, what makes a 5-star resort?
What makes a 5-star resort? It's about caring. It's about paying attention to detail, and it's about the excellence of service. I do watch every one of my employees to make sure that they address our guests correctly, because I never know when the raiders are in there. They come in there undercover, and I want to make sure that we never, ever miss a beat. And when I'm in-house, I'll even be at the door greeting our guests, which is a lot of fun.
I bet they're surprised to see the owner standing there saying,
Well,
welcome.
sometimes they don't know I'm the owner, so I just greet them. I just love doing that.
How do you decide what location you're going to want to buy or build? I mean, that's so critical. How do you make those decisions?
You know, it's really by instinct. And I'll tell you a little bit of the story about Salamander Resort and Spa. That was a very interesting experience, and I'm sure a lot of you developers have gone through this. But when I moved to the Middleburg area, I forgot I was south of the Mason-Dixon line, first of all. One of the things is I went into that community, the town, which is a very historic town in Middleburg, was totally bankrupt. I could see the forest through the trees, and I said, they need an economic engine there. So what I decided to do, first of all, I bought a gun shop, moved him out. There was a Confederate flag in there. I took that down. It's now a wonderful market where people can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And I thought of it as the chef's working kitchen. Secondly, I built a performing arts center there in the town because the school there I thought was excellent, and they did a lot for the arts for kids. And I thought that was really going to warm the hearts of the people that live there. When I bought 340 acres of a property that belonged to the late Pamela Harriman, was the last of the estate, I immediately walked up there and I knew exactly what needed to be done, and that was to build a resort. So that Salamander Resort I built from the ground up. I did the design work, I did everything. The other thing that I was able to find out, the town did not have a proper working water sewage treatment plant. So as I'm going through the process of trying to get the permitting, excuse me, but all hell broke loose. They did not want that resort there. And it took me almost 10 years to get that resort built. It was very daunting. There was racist hate mail. My life was threatened. My kids' lives were threatened. But I didn't want to give up. And it was very, very important that I not give up, because I really knew that this was going to work. I did a feasibility study. We're 30 minutes from Dulles Airport. Why shouldn't this work? And I know my husband always said, you build it, they will come. And he was absolutely right. So once I was able to get it finished and open the doors there, I think there were like over 1,000 people lined up just to tour the resort. And from the moment I opened the door, that town now is the wealthiest historic town in the state of Virginia. And I also built them a brand new water sewage treatment plant because I needed it. But it has really saved the town. And since then, we've got more retail. It has just become one of the most exciting places. The other thing that I had to do, which you will see later, is I wanted to bring something very special to the town that was going to happen, and you will see this on another sizzle reel. But Robert Redford came to visit me.
Lucky
one
girl.
day.
Okay.
I know, it's just so lucky. And I took him up onto the land, and he looked down on the town, because I was on the board of Sundance, and he says, you really should put a film festival in this town. I think it would really work. Do you know we got that film festival up 3 months after we opened,
Wow.
and we've never looked back, so we're getting ready to go into our 10th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You could just write books about tenacity and perseverance and not giving up.
I'm working on that too.
Yes. Can you send me a copy, a signed copy, please?
Oh, we have a book party here.
So, at one of your resorts. So, before we came up here, there was a little bit of a tease about an announcement with regard to the iconic Aspen Institute.
Right.
Can you share that with us?
Yeah, this is very interesting. Aspen Institute is also located on the East Coast, not too far from Washington, D.C. It's the Y Plantation. And it's in really bad shape, in total disrepair. So they've been holding their meetings at Salamander Resort and Spa. But I have been going all the way to Aspen for some of the programs on the environment, and I was very, very intrigued by not only the academic gathering of people there, and how they were trying to change the world or bring the ideas out there. And Aspen Institute also has the Ideas Festival, which will be here in Miami, May 3rd through the 7th. And then we will, in June, have another Ideas Festival at Aspen. But PwC came to me and said, why don't you try and bid on the Aspen Institute to take over the management? We can't buy it, it's a foundation. And I got very excited about it. But my job was to convince my executive team, because as you all know, hotel people, They're like, 98 rooms, you're not gonna make any money. You're not gonna make any money. I said, no, this is different. This is expanding our brand and eyeballs to people that would never probably come to Middleburg. But because I was able to go after it, to make a very long story short, we won the bid over 15 other companies. And so I asked Dan Porterfield, and he says this all the time, it's because our value systems align. And that's what's really, really important. I really believed in what Aspen Institute has been doing for 75 years?
Long
they've been
time.
there? And also, I know that I could bring new ideas to the Aspen Institute. Now, the problem with Aspen Institute and Aspen itself, there is no diversity there whatsoever. None, except for the people that work there, and it's Latinx. And I felt as though that as an African-American woman, I could get in there and really start bringing new voices in there. So I got a call from David Gergen, and he was so excited about this, and we'll get into this on the philanthropy side. But he said, Sheila, you can change that place. And that is my goal. I want to bring a younger generation up there. I want to bring diversity. I want talking heads from every culture up there, because this is the way the world needs to go. And I feel as though by getting in there, we will officially take it over May 1st from Wyndham Dolce. We're going to not only do complete renovation of the Aspen Institute, so when they come through the pillars, they're going to see that there's a new game in town here. And just to make it and warm it up into a place, it's not going to ever be a really hotel, but I want it where anybody, kings and queens, can come in there and they just feel comfortable and want to be there. We will renovate every single one of the units. And I will tell you, those units are bigger than any of the hotel rooms in downtown Aspen, from the St. Regis to the W Hotel to Little Nell. We are going to really make them really nice. And I want to build a first-rate spa, because our view right to the mountains, they've got something there called a spa, but I really want to make it one of the most luxurious spas up there. The reason why this is important, and there are other things from putting in a wonderful cafe, we can't even get coffee. You have to go all the way into downtown Aspen to get coffee or a pastry. But I want to build a cafe there that at nighttime it becomes a wine tasting area and bring some jazz in there. I want to connect the Food and Wine Festival of Aspen and bring it up the mountain, it's just 1 mile away, and bring other wonderful chefs up there so that we can extend that. I've got to really bring the community up the mountain to the Aspen Institute. I could go on and on.
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm
No, I'm
so
ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Sheila, when you're not thinking about new ideas, you must be thinking about new ideas. That's not my question. So with regard to the Salamander Resort, you're now building luxury residences.
Right.
Can you talk to me a little about how you came to realize that that might be a good idea, and what you see the synergies to be?
All the hotel groups are doing this.
Okay, we'll move
So
on
I
then.
figured I got the land, I had gotten permitted when I won the fight to get my resort up. I was able to build 49 luxury homes. So it's going to become a very large campus with a wonderful gathering place of a clubhouse. I got to build another, I've already got 3 pools, but I'm going to build a clubhouse with an additional pool, bar. I really want to make this one of the most exciting destination resorts. And the idea of the resident, we've already sold half of them. We're stopping it there till we can get all the infrastructure work in there. But these are people that have been coming to the resort time after time after time, and they're saying they want to be part of the experience. So my job is not only to have them, because they're not going to be homes, where that's where they, they're coming out of DC, some New York. They want to come there and spend some time. What you all also have to understand, we're in the middle of probably one of the most popular equestrian communities. We have Nacho Figueroa coming there to play polo. We have big horse shows there, some of the oldest horse shows in the world. We have wineries at right at our doorstep. 11 of them right there, and we're able to, we have a partnership with Audi, and we drive our customers there so they can drink, and we drive them back. But there's so much right there because that resort was built, that it has opened the doors to not only new wineries coming in there, retail shops. I also have horseback riding. So those people that really want to, live there or come visit, they can bring their horse in. We will board the horse and take care of them. So it's just an experience. It's something that's so different.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Again, when you're not thinking of brave new ideas, you're thinking about brave new ideas.
Right.
All right, so in looking at your career so far, it's obvious that you've been able to expand opportunities and advance diversity in everything that you do.
Yes.
As a groundbreaking entrepreneur, which you have been a groundbreaking and continue to be, through your sports franchises and your philanthropy, which is significant. So I'd like to invite everybody to watch the next sizzle reel, and we will get into the next discussion. And this is a very enjoyable reel, so
Okay.
let's take a look.
Here at the family reunion, every single dish is a celebration of Black culture.
And you can feel it, you can hear it, you can taste it. The joy is palpable.
This setting speaks for itself. One, it's beautiful. It's luxury, but also it's Black owned. There's the lack of knowledge of how beautiful Black culture is. So the celebration that we're doing here at the family reunion, we're amplifying it so more people know about the Black experience.
We are a community, and we have got to stick together. I've always had the vision that I wanted to bring some of the most important people to this resort to really talk about issues that are past, present, and future.
It's rare that, people of color are able to celebrate their culture while celebrating a special experience. We're telling stories of the inaudible. We're giving people a platform, and we're here to stay.
And this is a safe space for people to be able to talk about things together in a way that maybe they haven't ever been able to do before in this industry.
This space allows us to be free. We're able to talk the way we want to talk without judgment, and the family reunion sets an example for that.
The foundations have been built, but these young people, this new generation, is taking it to a whole nother level.
The food that I have tasted here at the family reunion, Valerie Lomas's peach cobbler, Brian Furman's barbecued ribs, Kwame's escovitch, it is being made for this gathering with love. And everybody is showing up and showing out and wants to put their best foot forward and their best flavors forward because it's a new kind of stage.
This is going to be an annual event. What we have created here is so important. Energy that has been brought to this, to be able to have Dave Chappelle here, to be able to dance until 3 o'clock in the morning. I have learned so much. This has been a breath of fresh air. I felt free for the first time.
I've been surrounded by so much love and inspiration. I learned that we are so much stronger together than we are apart. And, with the family reunion, you come as friends.
Thank y'all. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
So let me talk to you about this. I got to know Kwame Almawachi. He had a wonderful restaurant on the what was it called, the Harbor now in D.C., called Kith Ken. My staff took me there for my birthday. I tasted the food. I've never tasted food like this in my life. I went back there with my executive team. They tasted the food, and they just could not believe it. They were blown away. Then COVID hit. He lost the restaurant. I was so upset about that I have now made him a chef in residence at Salamander, because what we needed was this diversity. not only of color, but we needed diversity in the culinary industry. Kwame and I started talking about, because he's always at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival, I proposed to Food and Wine magazine an idea of bringing 31 of the top chefs and sommeliers of color and gender, male and female, that's what gender means, right? In there, because I wanted to really celebrate the food of the African diaspora. I didn't want to just feed people, but I wanted to educate them, because those foods came over with the slaves. And so much of our culinary experience, those foods are based, every restaurant, even in Miami, especially in Miami, comes from the African diaspora. That's the foundation. So not only did they eat, but we also educated. And some of the people that are in there, from Carla Hall to Virginia Ali, who owns Ben's Chili Bowl in Washington, D.C., and we actually took everybody through what she went through in the civil rights movement and how Ben's Chili Bowl was able to withstand the riots. But these are important conversations that needed to start, and I said, why don't we do it through hospitality, by feeding their soul and teaching them about the food and the wines. There is so much talent in this country, both Black, white, Asian. We, Latinx, you name it, across the board. No one should be shut out of these kinds of opportunities. I wanted to bring this young man into my world, to expand his world, and to bring all the other culinary chefs. So this has become an annual event. So CBS Saturday Morning had covered this. Michelle Miller just could not believe this was happening. The people were leaving crying. They said, you've got to do this again. But this is something that's very important to the Salamander brand, is diversity. And really trying to not just check the box, but to really walk the walk.
And you're a perfect example of doing just that.
Thank you.
And so the theme that that you're going to have this year is entrepreneurship.
These are some
and
great cans that keep popping around.
They're kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
So as an
Perfect
entrepreneur,
segue.
as an entrepreneur, you answer to yourself,
Yeah.
which is it's a wonderful opportunity. It also has challenges and burdens, no question about it. Can you share with the group a little bit about, an entrepreneur is a big subject, but I'm going to talk about the things that maybe are a little difficult to talk about as an entrepreneur, things you deal with like failure and rejection. You talked a little bit about that, but also managing fear and risk.
I believe in both of them.
Well,
I'll tell you, if you don't take risk in life, you're never going to get anywhere.
true.
And you need to face fear for what it is. It makes you stronger. I am never afraid to try something. I'm not afraid of failure, and I don't look at it as failure. I just look at it as a time that I need to pivot and look at solving a problem another way. And that's what's really important, I think, for all entrepreneurs. The other piece of advice I'd like to give you, and this is something I learned very early, be careful who you bring in your orbit, because I call them energetic vampires. If they see you're on a trajectory that's going to make you successful, they want to be a part of that, but they'll take a piece of it. I lost $12 million of my own money because I had the wrong people working for me. Because coming out of the media business, I hadn't a clue about the hotel business. And one thing that I learned very quickly is I needed to pull back, get rid of those people, and do my homework to find who are the best in the business. So I traveled all the way down to Kiowa, found Prem Devadas, who had done the sanctuary there. He had also done the hotel in Richmond, Virginia, the Hermitage in Nashville. He had a long line of successes. And so my attorney says, I do know this guy. We flew down. I had all of my plans wrapped under my arm. And I'm like, God, please, I hope he takes this job. because I knew immediately when I met him, he was the right person. We have the same value system. He's been with me, gosh, 17 years now. So he helped me build a team that is still with me to this day. I've only fired one person. But that team is still with me. They believe in me. They respect me as a woman. I give them enough rope to do whatever they need to do, but I'm right there with them. I let them grow also, and that's what's very important. I want them to grow through the company, because at some point I've got to, I guess, some time to set up a succession. But it is really important that you're very, very careful with who you bring into your company. I can't stress it enough.
Oh, absolutely, and you had to learn it a very hard way.
I learned it the hard way,
Yeah,
yes.
that's very punishing, but I bet you wouldn't make that mistake again. But sometimes we do. Yes, there it goes again. So, all right, this is a rather serious subject, and that
Yeah.
is when we talk about the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is very top of mind, the real estate industry, hence the folks in this room. It remains very white and male-dominated. As someone who has clearly broken barriers, as we've just discussed, what are your observations about this issue, and what do you suggest?
It's an issue that's out there, and I'll tell you, there's something that I've taken on this past year. There is a group that was put together, and I've been with them from the very beginning, because we tried to go after the Olympics and didn't get it. But anyway, it's called the Greater Washington Partnership. And myself and Jason Wright, who's the first African-American president of a football franchise, Washington, I guess they're Commanders now, he and I are co-chairing a strategy committee that is really focused on growing minority businesses. And we've brought in almost every single corporation in the DC area to work with them on hiring people of color, both men and women. And I just don't want them to check the diversity and inclusion box. I want them in the companies. That is really important. I just did a project with Turner. They are now committed to bringing young people, whether in junior college or fresh out of high school, but they're going to train them in the construction business so that they have jobs. But this is something that Jason and I are committed to doing. It's very, very important. And I'm constantly preaching to these corporations that we're going to hold them accountable. They have the monies and the wherewithal to do it. And I'm constantly introducing interns to them that can become interns, that can work in these companies. So this is what I'm trying to do.
Wow, you do. And it sounds to me like sometimes the bottom line isn't the reason to do something.
Right.
It's because it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Right.
It's the morally right thing to do.
Right, right. Makes you very unique.
Yeah.
So we do have one more video that I'd like to share with the
Okay.
audience, and that's highlighting your Middleburg Film Festival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please welcome Ken Reddick.
Sterling K. Brown. Writer-director Noah Baumbach.
was joking on the phone there's going to be a fireside chat, not knowing it's literally a fireside chat.
There's a real thrill for filmmaking, and that's really important right now. Laughing and crying with strangers and creating this kind of connection.
The best film festival in the world.
So you can see, we have fun.
So Sheila, Middleburg is a long way from Hollywood and Cannes. So how did you make that happen?
We just did it. It was Redford's idea,
Well, it's a
and
good
I
one.
just followed through with the idea. And I have to tell you, we got 41 nominations of the films that we've shown. Every year, the films that we have there win Best Picture. And I am proud to say I'm an executive producer of Summer of Seoul, which is now up for an Oscar.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow, yes.
I hope I win.
Anybody here votes for the Academy? Because we need your vote. Actually, that's quite powerful that every single winner has been part of the film festival.
It really
so
has,
everybody is
yeah.
going to have to come through there.
And
It's just
you
the
know,
odds.
we've got such a great relationship now with Netflix. I mean, they've already booked their rooms. But this is how you build a brand. It's not just opening the doors and doing a little PR and marketing. We're giving experiences like you will never see in your life. And I'm constantly trying to think of other ways. Of course, my staff's like, I think we're pretty busy right now. But the family reunion is a yearly event. We're going in our 10th year for the film festival. I'm trying to get either the American Ballet Theater back, or we can bring an opera to the back lawn. Because see, I have the biggest grand lawn you've ever seen. And I can do all sorts of events back there. But these are the things that I love doing. I have an arts background, I have a media background, I'm just combining it all. The other thing that's very exciting, because I own the teams, I get those hockey players out there, they're having their weddings there. The learners, they're having their children is having their second wedding there. So I get some of the NBA players there, so I'm connecting the dots. And that's what's really important about building a brand. I'm just not just a hotelier, but I'm a person that's going to just give you the best experience you can through our hotels. And it's not just at Salamander Resort and Spa. Even in Charleston, we actually held the Democratic debates. I mean, we had media swarming all over the place. I go out there and I make people use my hotels. Next month, I'm the only woman that has as part of the PGA Tour. So I have the Valspar Championships. Those golfers are in there. And again, we use our driving range. We have some of the biggest concerts out there. It's not just a golf event, but we also entertain. But that's what's really important. Jamaica in Montego Bay, we're constantly bringing events. We have a major event coming, but I can't talk about it. It's top secret.
I mean, maybe just
I can't do it. I've had to sign a.
Well, we'll have to circle back
Yeah.
and get some more information.
You'll probably hear it on the news, but anyway.
So Sheila, I mean, all of these things, this is a great deal of it is the for-profit world. You're doing all these good things. You're building the brand and the PR, the marketing, and the relationships. You're obviously a people person, which anybody that's successful has to be. But philanthropy has been such a big part of your being, of your legacy. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. For all of you out there, you're running businesses, but what's important is your outreach, and I call this the double bottom line. Because if you're out there helping your community, that's going to come back to your business. One of the most important things that I think, I do a lot of philanthropy, but one of the things that I really wanted to do, and this also goes back to the diversity issue, David Gergen and I put together a program. It's the Sheila C. Johnson Fellowship Program at the Kennedy School at Harvard. I have literally put through school 50 students from underserved communities. I paid for their everything, even their health care. They have all come out of there. One is clerking at the Supreme Court for Sonia Sotomayor. I got 3 doctors. I've got probably 4 lawyers in different, and they're all in DC. One is running for Congress out of Vermont. Every single one of them, and they're in healthcare. You can check the box of everything across the board. They are so successful. What I did, they all had the ability, but I gave them the opportunity. They call me Mama J, and it's just not that they've graduated. We get together. They check in with me. The other thing I want to tell you, if you're ever going to do a program, and you have it here at the University of Miami, just don't write a check. You need to have safety nets for these kids because they don't either have the families to go back to or their family structure has fallen apart. I've put a student through school both at Wharton and at Harvard. He was part of my program, but he was homeless. We found him in a car. He was working a construction site. Brandon is the smartest man I have ever met in my life. He's working for Morgan Stanley. He's now with Samsung, and now he wants to start his own investment firm. Wow. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't given him the opportunity. Yeah. I am so proud of these young people. They are so smart. I'm going to take them up to Aspen Institute, and I'm going to teach them how to get their voices out there so that they can share with other students what they've gone through, where they're going, what's their professional trajectory. But this is important. When you invest in people, you're investing in the world. And I love every single one of them. They're just amazing.
It's just jumping out of your soul. It's so obvious. And they're lucky, very lucky to have somebody like you. Mama J, is that what, Mama J?
They call me Mama J.
Mama J. So to sort of wrap up what we've been talking about, and that was a wonderful segue because we do have a large number of students in the room today. And I'm sure that they're listening to everything you're saying, but perhaps you could talk directly to them. What would you want to share with the students in the room that come from diverse, they could be in any one of our schools. What would your words of wisdom be to them?
Well, first of all, remember what I said about bringing the right people around you. I want to make sure that every student, whatever you're doing, you got to believe in yourself first. You really study yourself and make sure you know who you are. Because if you don't, other people are going to figure it out for you and they will use you. The other thing is, just remember to keep the doors open. I know you're getting a degree and whatever you're going to get a degree in, but if there's another door that opens, take what you've already learned and see how you can diversify and make your world stronger. One thing I've learned in all of this is diversification is really important in building your brand. You've become the CEO of your own life, and that's what you've got to carry with you. You figure out how you're going to move forward and have patience. It takes time, and that's something I've had to learn because I'd like to keep going and everything, but my mother has always said, he says, you just need to slow down a little bit and have patience. Watch what's going on. Because if you keep making mistakes like that, you're not really examining why you've made those mistakes.
Oh, I love that, and I'm going to take a little bit of that lesson, Mama J. Be the CEO of your own life. That's critically important. I think that's something that we often don't remember to do.
Yeah.
That it is. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else that you'd like to? I think this has been just incredible. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your 3-act play story. I know there's a lot more, and we'd love you to come back and share some more with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much.